Hey everybody, it's Catherine Perry, the Big Vision Coach. So excited about what we are doing this week, what we're doing today. I'm coming on just a couple of minutes early so that you can find everything. Now in the files section, you will find the action guide, but I'm going to show you around the site and everything. So don't worry, I'm starting a couple of minutes early just so people have a chance to get notified and get logged on and get that one more drink of water. I'm going to do my very best to keep this presentation to an hour and bring everything I got. I'm going to bring it. And I want to make sure that you leave with an actionable item that will move you forward. So these handouts are going to be super important. So starting in just a couple of more minutes, if you have not done so yet, be sure and like the StreamYard page. The reason you do that is it lets them know that you and I have business together, and that will enable me to be able to see comments, because I want to ask questions and find out, how is this going for you? Do you need clarity? I really want to get your feedback, because this is about you, not about me. So I want to be able to deliver the best value possible. Okay, we have got another minute. I'm going to go off the air and I will be right back. Just a reminder, if you have not been able to find your handout yet or the action guide that I'm showing, the best place to find it is always going to be over in the files section of the challenge group page, and you can find that on the left hand side of the page. If you're on a desktop, it's always on the left hand side. If you are on your mobile device, it's usually going to be a bar across the top, and it'll be one of the choices that you scroll to. I always post the new handout sheets in the morning. In the afternoon, there's always a little homework. So be sure and stay tuned to the page, and really want to encourage everybody to engage and share your journey. Okay. Woo! Hey everybody, this is it. It's official. This is the start of the Master Your Sales Mindset 5-day challenge. I'm Catherine Perry, the Big Vision Coach, and I am your host. Let me turn off this ticker. And the idea behind this event kind of came organically. I'm just going to share with you quickly. I'm going to share with you today, walk you around some of the site a little bit. I'm going to show you where to get your handouts. And then we are going to be setting a really clear intention. And we're going to talk about why is that important. We're going to talk about the difference between an abundance mindset and a scarcity mindset. And then we're going to talk about how to use the one command to shift that thinking and open up your possibility thinking and take you into this space of being a conscious creator rather than a fearful reactor. I mean, which would you rather be? I'm voting for conscious creator, right? So that's the idea here. And I want to first just show you what the kind of private members area is going to look like, where I'm storing a lot of stuff, and it is a Google link, and I'm going to put it right into the chat bar. But before I do me a favor, and let me get over to this page. Do me a favor and say hello, and let me know where you're tuning in from. Hello, Emily. How are you today? So I just let me get back And then I've got the link in the site, but I'm just going to show you how I have this organized. Okay. So this is a Google Drive link. I've shared the link, and I will make sure I put it into the chat bar before I go. And this is going to be available for the next 2 weeks. Actually, I'm going to take it down August 15th. I have this organized so that every day the video will appear, and I'm still uploading some materials here, of the video and the handout. So I will download the videos and the audio so that you can listen to it, because I'm a podcast girl and I love listening to things like at night or while I'm working. And what I have here in the area is, number one, I've got the ebook of the original One Command. And then I have an action guide on mastering the 6 steps of the One Command process. Like, how do you format the command? We've got some sheets in there so that you can lay out the papers if you want to. And it answers a lot of those common questions. And then I have a action guide, and it just kind of explains some more of the things. And if you wanted to print it out and download it, then it has the to-do list and it has all the links contained in it. But sometimes it just helps to have something that you could kind of have in your hand, have handy. Okay. Today, we're on day 1. Yay. I already have the sell sheet in there. I will usually upload it either the evening before or in the morning before the call so that you can print it out. It is also editable. Let me try to say, we'll say fillable. So if you were to download it, and you can fill it out on your computer. But what I do find is that it actually is more powerful to print it out and write it, because that's brain thinking. Okay. So sometimes we don't know, and you could actually flip it over, write on the back, print another sheet of paper, write it out if you start getting some ideas. And today is simple, but it is really the foundation to everything. I apologize. I don't know how to turn off my Facebook alerts. There's a lot going on at my house right now. And if you hear pings and everything else, that's my family communicating. Hey, I want to say hey to Billy Ann. How are you? And I see someone else is on. I can't see your name, but thank you so much for joining. Billy Ann's in North Florida. Emily's in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I don't know who our mystery person's from, but we've got some more folks going to be tuning in. And if you are watching this by replay, I am paying attention to these throughout the day. If you've got a question or comment, be sure and hit hashtag, put in hashtag replay. Okay, hashtag replay. And then that will let me know that this is something I need to pay attention to. It makes it easier for me to search through the feed and to get the information. Okay, so let me stop this screen share and start another one. The platform I'm on, you have probably seen that it's called StreamYard. I got to give a plug to this thing. I don't get any money for this. I'm not an affiliate or anything else, but I got turned on to StreamYard from the incredible Lindsay Anderson, who helped me put together my challenge back in March. And she kept mentioning it, and I was like, okay, what is that? Because I was having some trouble with some of the platforms, and I want to get the video, and I want to be able to broadcast it different places. And StreamYard is cool because I also use YouTube videos. I use them not only for promotion, but I use the format for my private membership areas, right? So I can kind of do 2 things at the same time. I can record here and I can record on a YouTube video, or however many platforms I like. For free is 2 platforms, but multiple platforms is a very low price. So StreamYard.com, check it out. It's free to get started, super easy. And I've just been so pleased with this. So if you do Facebook Lives, or you're wanting to start getting some more things going and get the word out about your business or your services, or just make a difference in people's lives in a more profound way, where it's at today is on Facebook, and I highly recommend this platform. Okay, that's my little plug for the platform here. So let me. I'm going to share screen again, and you have to forgive me because I fussed about this last night. But I have a new webcam. If you have a recommendation for a webcam, I would so appreciate it, because this one kind of blinds me a little bit. So it's not quite the right fit for me. But this is the group page. And I'm sorry, as I said, there's a whole bunch of Twitter chat going back, a whole bunch of chat going back and forth. And on the page here, let me scroll down. I always pin announcements to the top. So if there's something new going on, it's always going to show up right after this first post and then what's going on. Okay. Then if there's a new activity, like I've uploaded a file, it will be in the feed here, but also over here to the right, you will see recent group files. And I'm going to scroll over here. Over on the left-hand side, there's files. Okay. If you're on a mobile device, it looks a little different. That you'll see headings. Okay. And you'll be able to click it out. So all of my files are here, and I keep them here. And then there's some things I have from my past files. One that I really want to encourage you to take a look at if you have not looked at it yet, and that is this money beliefs page. Let me see if it's not going to let me show that one. But over in the files section, it looks like it's frozen. It doesn't look like it's showing what I want you to see. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing that page. Okay, I'm going to stop that screen. Yeah, it's not showing anything. Logitech webcam. Thank you, kind Facebook user. Thank you. That's on my shopping list. So I've got it in there, and then every day, the way this is going to work, just very simply, is that every day at noon, I'm going to come on, we're going to talk about our main topic. And I love to do hot seats, to where I'm working with people one-on-one. This platform's not going to quite help me with that. So I'm going to be tuning in more to your questions. I want to keep this as tight as possible. And one of the best places to tune into if you want to get some, more kind of connection with the group and learning more about how this one command process that we're going to be talking about can be applied more to your day-to-day living and shifting your beliefs, but also instilling an empowering state of being and help you shift your ability to think about your potential. But more than that, this raises your vibration, so that as you start radiating from this new state of being, the world starts meeting you in a new way, and things just start happening and manifesting. Miracles start happening. Your intuition gets enhanced, and there's this kind of level of faith that comes in. And because you have this new level of faith, your confidence goes up, and you just start meeting a friendlier world. I just love this work so much. I've been doing it for about 15 years. Had the pleasure of being a student of Asara Lovejoy, who was the author and the creator of the book. We were business partners and traveling companions and roommates and best friends in life for, she's still my best friend, I have to say, but she was a true mentor, and I was a true apprentice of her and the work. And I really got to be in a deep relationship with a real master. And her gift as that master was to meet the master in me. She never treated me as someone who was less. In fact, the first time that I got to go help Asara Lovejoy on anything, I just said, just let me schlep your suitcases. I just want to see how this, seminar business stuff works. And she put me on stage. First day, she had a whole presentation. It was to Boeing. And she said, Catherine, come on up. Tell them what you were doing tell them what you were telling me in the car. And she immediately asked me to share a recent revelation I'd had and this experience, right? And so Asara immediately recognized me and treated me as a master. This is my personal philosophy and how I meet my customers and clients and potential partners, that the master in me is greeting the master in you. In this space, when you hear me say that, what that does is there's something in you that rises up. I am meeting the very best part of you who has a purpose and a mission and who brings value. As I bring my attention to you, I am making the decision to be that to you. As we meet in that, this creates this whole new field of agreement. And the cool thing is that it's not, you don't have to do that with just people you like. What's so cool is once you start living and operating from that assumption, even people that you might not quite get or understand, or you don't like their views, when you understand that we're all masters who are here having an experience. This is a personal philosophy, and I don't want to go into too much, but we're all here having this experience in our growth as a soul. This is one of my personal beliefs. And coming from that perspective, then as I make the conscious decision to meet that, I believe that I'm going to shift consciousness. I'm going to believe that I'm going to grow and learn. And if there's any offense or upset, or there's something that they rile up in me, it is simply the sign, and that it's the time to deal with an issue that I have not been willing to deal with. That's really how I look at difficult people and difficult situations. When you come from that perspective, you start meeting life and even the challenges in a more curious, open way. And that's what I want to model for you. Not perfection and slick. If you notice, I am not a slick operation at all. My job is to show up as authentically as possible. And I really want to demonstrate how you can grow your business in a relatively low-tech way. And yes, there is a place for, as you get more experience, you're going to have more sophistication. Things will get streamlined, but you've got to have a place that you start, and you've got to have a simple go-to way of making things happen. And it starts with sales. And this conversation about sales, I've been having with a lot of people in the weekly group, in that TOC Virtual Commanding Wealth group. And I've got the link to up in the corner. If you are not a part of that group, I get together every Tuesday with people. And then Alex Wren has a Wednesday night group. And so these conversations about how do you do outreach, meeting people. Oh, I got to sell some stuff and I feel really scared and I'm uncomfortable. And people were kind of stuck in the construction zone, and they're always trying to do and get ready and prepare and tweak and keep building on their project, but they had not done anything to put the word out yet. They weren't letting people know what they were up to. And so people wound up hiding behind doing the stuff, which I've done. If you've done that, let me know, right? We all do this, right? We get busy being busy, but we aren't really doing the things that are going to move the needle forward. Now, the reason also that I wanted to talk about this on the sales thing, and I talked about this last night I did a presentation, and I have the video in the group 2. Let me get the Chrome tab open again. Okay, let me come back. Oh, the video I think is still uploading, but let's take a look here. Yeah, it's there. So I do have it in the group, and let's make sure that this is showing the page. There we go. I did mention it in the group last night that more people than ever, because of what has happened in the economy in the last 6 months because of the pandemic, people are looking for another way to create an income. Some are on unemployment, some aren't. I'm one of those businesses that kind of falls through the cracks. I didn't quite qualify for the unemployment. I might now, but I don't quite qualify just because of how my income comes in. But, my business did get affected. I'm not going to lie. And I don't quite qualify for the PPE, and I don't qualify for the grants or whatever. And I didn't really not even that interested in doing it because I really like being able to do things on my own. But when I said, well, I don't know, is there money there? And I realized I'm not a good candidate for that. So I just had to say, well, I guess I have another way of making money, right? So on right now, as we're doing this, there are people that they're having to go more to the gig economy. They're looking at maybe going into some opportunity businesses like MLM. They're saying, well, maybe I need to, I have these skills and services that I'm able to do for people. Maybe I need to get more coaching clients, or I need to get more healing clients. But there's this little kind of pullback. You go, I don't know. Do people have money? I don't want to, interrupt people's pain, or I don't know. All of a sudden there's this resistance. There's this big conversation going on. But at the same time, it's back on us to create our income. And this is our opportunity to do it in a way that is authentic and alignment with our values. A lot of people, I don't know if you're on social media besides Facebook, but I'm on Reddit. And what I'm seeing is people are going, the idea, after being in lockdown and being able to kind of live my life, and I'm working from home and I'm able to get my work done, but I have a greater quality of life. I kind of miss seeing people at the office, but for the most part, I like being in charge of my time. I like being able to wear the clothes I like. I like being able to take a walk around my neighborhood. I like being able to spend time with my friends and, with my family. Not so much the friends like we were, but still to be able to let things unroll, right? And they said, I don't know if I can go back to the way it was. And I think that's what's really up. It was not working for so many people on so many levels. And people were commanding and asking for a change. And this is our opportunity to create something greater. And the way that we're going to be able to do that is, first, we have to take control of our mind, what we're thinking, what our filter of reality is, what our thoughts are. And thinking and thoughts are a little bit different. Thinking's more like, how are we having, how am I doing this? Why is this like this? And then thoughts are like, oh, I want to, oh, let's do this, right? It's like these things that kind of rise up. Thinking's more processing, thoughts is more organic, rises up. So we've got to look at it. And, I've looked at my business. I had to look at it a different way. I had to ask, hey, is commanding wealth really the thing that is going to help the most people now? And because I had made the decision to move forward with it. Sarah Lovejoy is retired. She wants to write a couple of books, and she might want to do some teaching, but really she's ready to be really step back. And she says she's not really going to do anything with the seminars. And it was always the plan to pass the seminars on to me. So I said, yeah, let's, thank you. Right. And so she gifted all of the seminar materials that she and I had worked on for 6 years, and including the certification courses and everything else. And then I said, well, great, now I'm going to move forward with it, and did my first launch. And then the pandemic hit, and I was like, wow, is this the thing people need now? Right. And I got to give shouts out to Billy Ann. I love you, Billy, because Billy she and I had a really powerful conversation, and she just wanted to connect with me and talk to me. And she did the thing that I recommend that people do. And she kind of like lit something in my heart. And I just got to say thank you so much, because it shifted from, and I have to work on my mindset. I'm not going to lie. but it shifted from this thing that I wanted to do. And do I want to do it? Is it going to work? What do I have to do to make it happen? I'd kind of gotten in my head with it. And Billy Ann got me back into my heart on it. And she relit that, kind of like that pilot light in my heart. So I just want to say I love you and I thank you for that. And I'm more committed than ever. And my strength with all the process of the One Command and everything else, my focus has always been, what is that practical application? Yeah. It's great. We have this beautiful experience of going into theta. I said that when we were in hypnosis, hypnotherapy, and I do meditation and breath work, and I love process. I love it. And I love being in that space. And at the same time, unless it brings some value to my ordinary life, I'm honestly not that interested in it, tell you the truth. It's got to have a practical application. So what I always focus on is how can I serve people and help them meet whatever internal resistance or fears or doubts that they have to fulfill their desires. There's something that they want to do, but sometimes people don't know what's possible. I put in the group last night, one of the things that we talked about was, in my journey, what really was the thing that activated my mind. Even though I'd always had an interest in personal growth and development, I believed in prosperity and abundance. I'd gone to that type of church when I started studying Jose Silva and hypnosis and all of that more purposely. I listened to this really great program. It's still around. You might be able to find it. This is like straight up old school 1980s, Martin Silver's, right? Marshall Silver. Passion, Profit, Power. Passion, Profit, Power. I loved it. And I got it, and I was listening to those tapes, and it was a big deal for me to invest in those tapes, by the way, because I was working 3 jobs at the time. And I knew that there was something in me that wanted to move forward. And I hadn't really quite gotten that revelation that I really wanted to do, be teaching or helping people. I just knew it would look like kind of like what was happening organically in my life. I was always that person. I sat down next to people, or people were drawn to me, and they would tell me things, and I would help them solve their problems. And usually there was a big emotional thing. I was always a natural coach. But when he listened to that, he said something just kind of like in one of the sentences. He said, yeah, I struggled with money for a long time, and I'd be really lucky to earn $300, $400, $500 a month. Now I earn $2,000 an hour. And that was a magic number. It was like $2,000. I knew people made big money, but I didn't know how, right? Well, now I know that he sells programs, and he was a speaker, and as a speaker, he would sell his programs. So sometimes he would get paid to speak, and sometimes he would get to go to a venue, and then he would be able to sell his programs, but then he consulted for companies. And so $2,000 an hour was a big deal in the 80s, and now it's still a nice chunk of change. I don't know about you, but if I got paid $2,000 an hour, that would make a big difference in my day. How about you, right? But he had a really clear intention and that was as he had his personal development, everything that he learned, he took out to the world. And that's actually been my path. Everything I learned, I take out to the world. And my intention for you is that in these 5 days, that there's something that happens that sparks that new idea, and it sparks it in a way that it takes you into action. Okay. Because right now, with everything that's going on, it is triggering a lot of fear in people. And that fear causes us to either, freak out. Oh no, but what do? We have fight, flight, fright, or we get frozen, right? Or we F around. Okay, because it's that amygdala, survival instincts, effing around. And so we wind up doing a lot of unproductive stuff. We're seeing that flight thing, people just want to hide, right? Or, I'm going to go exercise. I'm just going to go work in my yard. I'm just going to go take off and be in the mountains for a while. Fighting, we see that on social media, right? Suddenly there's this extra enmity that's up, and it really has to do with more of fear. And then and getting frozen would just like, sometimes we think that's just shutting down and maybe going into depression, and a lot of people are dealing with that. But what I'm talking more about is it's kind of like maybe you're going on that information hunt and you're kind of in this information junkie mode, but you're not really doing anything. You go, yeah, I'd like to, but I don't know what to do. Your mind can't quite move you forward. There seems like to be too many options and nothing available at the same time. Okay, it's this kind of weird either or thing. And so what happens is a confused mind says no. And so what happens is a lot of resistance and procrastination and a lot of want tos, ought tos. But right after this, all that starts happening. So how can we get out of that? Well, we have to, one, understand that if we are having those experiences, those negative experiences that are keeping us stuck, keeping us in those 4 F's, right? Somebody type down what are the 4 F's? Fight, flight, frozen, and effing. Right? Fight, flight, frozen, effing. Okay. And that effing around is just dinking around, right? You're not really doing anything important. You're just like kind of going from one thing to another, but you're not really being serious. Okay. Is this making sense so far? Okay. Love to get your comments, get your feedback. What are you going through? Emily's I want to take a little sip of water. Be sure and tune in to that broadcast from last night. Okay. So how do we get over that? Well, one, we have to understand that if that is our experience, what we are having is a lack mentality. Okay. We are either in abundance or we are in lack. Okay. And right now there's this big discussion in the world, and I have to agree that I come from a kind of like this working class, but at the same time I had an entrepreneurial dad, so I can see both sides. But I knew what kind of business owner my dad was, and I know how businesses used to run and treat their employees, and I see that it's not the way that it was. Okay, I'm seeing the big income disparity, right? And so what we're seeing in the world is the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And this gap seems to be forming. But what we're speaking to is a lack of abundance. Okay. Now, this is true because where our attention goes, our energy flows, right? Where our attention goes, our energy flows. Whatever we put our focus on is magnified and made real in our life. That's what we start naturally attracting to us. If you identify with the rich getting richer, and that's great, and how do I get on board with that? And that's should be, and God ordained it, right? And if there had to be some poor stupid losers who didn't understand how to make that happen, right? Because that seems to be the attitude. I'm a little, I gotta say, I'm feeling a little salty about that one. But there was this cooperation, right? And so how can we align to the abundance in the world? Well, one, it's a decision. We set a clear intention that I'm going to start paying attention to what is abundant and good. I'm going to start paying attention to what is working. And that's the first thing I want you to write down is what's working in your life. Now, this is not part of your handout, but if you're taking notes, please write this down. And I'm going to type it in here. What is working in your life right now? Okay. What's working in your life right now? And so I'll give you an example. Hey, one thing that's working great is I'm with my family and I get to play with the coolest 5-year-old kid in the world. And I get to hang out with my teenager. We got a big yard and I'm in a small town where we're safe and everybody, we really, practice the masks and the social distancing, but it's a really comfortable situation, right? And I have time and space to work on my business. What's working is I've got some systems set up. that help support my business. I have a big customer list. I have a big network. I have a lot of options, right? So that's working for me. What's working for you right now? Would love to get your feedback. Okay, what's working? Okay. And this is a participation one. And if you have a way to type in, please type in what is working for you right now. I'd love to see that. Okay, so I'm going, what's working? Number 2, what do you appreciate? Oh, okay. Emily's saying finances are even better. Yay. What do you appreciate? So I can say I like this. So just one, I just want to create this field of appreciation between you and I. And I've noticed, what happens is I live with this thing that I call inner university. And so I'll think about things and I'll start having questions, and I'm kind of having this conversation with this, I guess I could call it my higher self. I don't know who it is, but I just notice that there'll be these periods that I'm noticing my world and I'm observing it differently. And I start having this kind of new conversation, and certain things start coming up. And then I have ideas, and then I want to try them out. And one of them was this idea about as you ask, so you shall receive. And my mind just kind of finally got that, right? As I ask, as the state of being that I ask the universe, so shall, in that same energy, shall I receive. And this is why we teach in the One Command about fulfillment. We want to live in the state of fulfillment, that whatever we face, whatever we're going through, we know that all things work together for our good. And that's the state of being and feeling that we want to receive it in. And if you've been following me, I told the story about one morning I woke up and I said, I want to put a test out. I want to just set a clear intention that I want to receive $1,000, not many that I have earned at all, nothing that I worked for. I want to receive $1,000 because of the state of appreciation. And then I was like, that would be cool. What would that look like? Well, what happens there is our beautiful brain wants to help. And what it does is it goes, how did we get money before? How did we get it? How did we see other people get it? What do we do? And then I was like, well, maybe I'll send out a customer appreciation email and do a special. And I went, no. I wanted to do it just from my appreciation. So it's like, well, I literally had no idea. So what did I do? I did a One Command. I don't know how. I receive $1,000 because of the state of appreciation that I'm living in. I only know that I really appreciate this $1,000 being in my life now, and I am fulfilled. And then, because I had woke up thinking about it, and then I went back to sleep. At 7, I get this phone call from a friend of mine that I dated 40 years ago. And he's like, how are you doing? How are your business? And he started saying, well, if you need money, I have $1,000 I could send you right now. It's like, no, I'm fine. I'm all good. Thank you so much. But I really appreciate that. And then we talked some more. He said, but I'm serious. I have, I know how it is. $1,000 isn't nothing to me, but maybe it can make a difference for you. Let me send this to you. And I was like, no, I'm fine. And he said, you can pay it back anytime. I said, really, I don't want a loan. Thank you very much. And then finally, the third time, I just said, do you want to give me $1,000? He said, yes, please. Let me give you this money. I said, why? And he said, because I appreciate you so much. I appreciate who you were to me. I appreciate just the fact that you're in my life again. I just appreciate you, girl. And I was like, okay. And I went, oh my God. I literally set that intention and he heard it. Right. And then he sent me the money and I said, okay, I receive it. Thank you. The cool thing was that my daughter, the next day, the hot water heater went out, and guess how much it was? $1,000. And I was able to give her that money when that came in. Isn't that awesome? Emily's saying she appreciates her time out of You have to excuse me. The slide is getting to me. My health is working for me. Thank you. Emily's saying she appreciates her time out of the traffic. Amen to that. My tribe, creating more cells, appreciate self care. Yeah, got some things working good, right? So today, what we want to do is we want to set a clear intention for what is it you want to get out of the challenge. And so I have this worksheet here that basically is why'd you join the challenge? And the reason I'm asking you this is I want to make sure you're seeing what I see. Let me share the screen. Heavenly bells. I feel like that scene in The Wizard of Oz from time to time where it says, pay no attention to that man behind the screen there. But today we want to set a powerful intention. Okay. I really want you to tune into why you joined the challenge. And one, like, think about what's not working for you. Now, this is just for you. Okay. But think about, hey, what did you hope to get out of it? But what's not working for you? And what do you hope to be able to have, be, or do as a result of what you learn here? Okay. And this is important because at the end of the week, I am going to ask you to look at this again because I want to make sure you got what you came for. I'm going to be asking, what is the number one goal for your business in the next 90 days? I mean, if you think about it, that's pretty cool because that's August, September, October. But even if you said September, October, November, and you really focused on the sales and the delivery of your products or services, how's your life going to be, right? If you really focused with this abundance mindset, what could happen in your business? If you align to the greatness within you and the master that you are and that greatness in you started meeting the greatness in the world, what greater good could you accomplish? This is kind of exciting, isn't it? So just going to be asked that, what is your goal? And why do you want it? We've really got to tune into why you want to create things. And I'm just kind of going through the handout. And what have you done to make your dream a reality so far? Now, you could, if you've been spending some time in the construction zone, that is fine, right? But if maybe this is time to tell the truth, like, really, I haven't done anything. I've said I wanted to make a phone call. I said I was going to do this, but I really haven't done anything, or I haven't done what I know that I could. Tell the truth about that and then acknowledge what stopped you, okay? Now, before I go any further, please do not beat yourself up. You might feel a little chagrined. You might go, that's crap. I have to call myself out and go, you know what? You can do better. Come on, stop making excuses, Catherine. Let's go. Sometimes I got to get tough with myself, but I always come back to loving and, go back into forward thinking mode. Okay. I've got to tell the truth. And so do you. Then number 7, when you start to visualize, picture, imagine your dream, or let's say your intention, do you get that high? Like, this happens to a lot of people. You really get that high, you get all excited, and then next thing you know, there's the big crash, right? So what happens and what feelings? So just pay attention, because the reason we want to do that is I want you to be aware of what your programs are. We really can't know what our level of consciousness is. We can only know its results. And when you start becoming the observer of your experience, when you start observing it and asking new questions, you're going to start getting new answers. That's when you detach from programming, right? That's when you detach from it being unconscious. There was someone that Bonnie Straylow from the way back in the day, in the early days of the One Come In, and great friend. She and I went to Asara school back in the late 90s, and she said, when you're not aware of it, it's a program. Once you become aware of it, It's a choice. So observing and noticing, like, when I want to do this, suddenly I notice that I get sleepy or tired, or I get distracted, or it seems like every time I get moving, there's this big upset, something happens and it pulls me away. Okay. Just notice what's happening. Don't argue. And probably what's happening is some internal resistance. And we're going to talk more about that tomorrow. We're going to be talking all about this inner stuff this week. But I don't want to get hung up on processing and programming. I really want to have you focus on making that choice between an abundance mindset or a scarcity mindset, and to just simply be aware of the scarcity and make a new decision about it. As you meet it and you notice, like, wow, I'm noticing that I don't have the money in my checking account that I'd like to have. I'm noticing that there aren't as many calls. I'm noticing that what I'm seem to be drawn to on social media are the stories about lack and loss. I'm noticing my own words are that way. Then when you notice it, what do you do? Well, very often we overthink it. Very often we tell ourselves a story about it, and my dad and my history and all, here's the reasons, right? Well, here's the truth about that. When you do that, you are at the effect of your experience. When you're living at the effect of what you're experiencing, that creates excuses. Okay. When you are the cause of what you're experiencing, when you move over into that mode of being the cause of your life, then you're able to take responsibility. Okay. And this gives you more resources. You really want to be in that position of choice. So if you notice that you are going into all the reasons you can't do something, just know that you are in scarcity mindset. And what you do is like, wow, that's scarcity mindset. I didn't know that was, because it would seem like it would be reasonable to hold on to your money. It would be reasonable to pay attention to what's happening. It would be reasonable, right, to try to conserve. It just seems like that would be reasonable. But you need to understand there's this really difference between conserving and grabbing and hanging on, right? And being fearful. So what do? You meet it in the moment. You acknowledge it. You go, wow, I'm experiencing scarcity in my life. That is a result of my scarcity mindset. Okay, good. You just notice it. Acknowledge it. Yeah. Okay, so what do I want instead? Well, I want to have an abundance mindset. This is our choice this week, scarcity or abundance. Okay. Somebody be my secretary and type that into the chat bar. Would somebody help me with that? I'm going to just ask you to do that for a second. Scarcity or abundance. Okay. When you meet it, you go, okay, so right now this is scarcity thinking. Well, I don't know how to shift into abundance thinking. Okay. And that's when you go right into that 6-step process. Everybody overthinks this one command process. Okay. You notice what happens. What do you want instead? Because we're in this gap. There's the thing we want. There's where we are now, and there's where we want to be. And in this gap, we project all of our hopes, fears, and desires. We will also, based if we're in scarcity or limiting thought, we're going to project all of our fears and doubts into there too. Okay. So what do we want to put in that gap? We want to fill it with abundance and possibility, right? That's what we want to do. And that's what we're doing here this week. So it starts with a very simple command. I don't know how. Okay. Now this is the basic command statement. I don't know how. I only know it so now. And I am fulfilled. Let me take this off of Ticker and see if I can show it again. It's just going to run back and forth, okay? Because I don't know how to take it off of Ticker. Okay. So I don't know how. So if you're just noticing, wow, this is scarcity, okay? So I don't know how. I have an abundance mindset about this situation, Okay. If you are looking at your checking account and there's not enough money, what you see is like, this is not the amount of money that I like to have in my account. Okay. Please stop saying not enough. Right now, this is not the amount that I like to have. I don't know how I have, and put in the amount of money that you want. I don't know how I have an abundance mindset when it comes to creating more money in my checking account. I only know that I am focusing on the right things right now. Or I don't know how I have a new vision of money. I don't know how to see this money as more than enough and trust that there's more than enough money in my account now. I'm looking over at my other laptop as if I'm looking at my checking account and it's not there. But do you know what I'm saying, right? Every time you meet it, every time you have a thought, everyone's always like, how do you form these perfect commands? I'm meeting whatever my thought is. When I think about my checking account, how do I want to think? I want to think, damn, I'm doing good today, right? What do you want to think about when you look at your checking account, right? I like, damn, I'm doing good. There's plenty here. Oh, I'm doing good. That's my thought when I see the money's in there that I want to make. And I really love when there's more money than I expected. So because I really like that, and that puts me in this field of appreciation, that's my command. Do you see how simple it is? So what do I want? I'm going to look at my checking account and go, yeah, I have more than enough money, right? Because there's more than enough money in the world, right? So I don't know how. Let's do it right now. Let's just roll our eyes up. Roll your eyes up. I don't know how. I have more than enough money in my checking account and savings. Somebody added that. I only know I do now and I am fulfilled. I don't know how. I look at my checking account and go, damn, I'm doing good. I only know I'm doing great now and I am fulfilled. Let that idea go. Let that expand out to an idea even greater that serves more good. That's all we're doing, guys. We're meeting ourselves in the moment. Okay. And we're doing it from this field of appreciation. Then we go, well, that's lovely, Catherine, but how do I get more money? Well, right now, we don't know how to get more money. You have an old way of thinking. Remember when I told you the story about, hey, I had this idea about abundance, this state of appreciation. And I just decided to do a command on it and I let it go. I did not focus on it. It just seemed silly, honestly, at the time. And I just went for it. Okay. That's what you need to do. You just need to let it go, and then the next thing will arise. Now, you may get an idea to make a phone call, but a phone call may come in, or a text now, since nobody likes phone calls anymore, right? Or an email or a messenger. But you'll get an inspiration, and that's the 7th step, that inspired action that we talk about a lot. So just meet it. Okay. So think about your intention. Let me come back to the sheet here. Once you start, you get and then whatever happens, and then we're always going to do commands, but then it really helps to create 3 little scenes of your goal being met and the results of your success. Okay, so one of the things, what I call a scene or a vignette, is, hey, once I get my one-on-one coaching schedule filled, I'll reward myself with a new laptop. Okay. Once I do that, that'll do that. And you make sure that you get that clear picture of that moment. There's a couple of times there's a few pictures you want to create, like, yes. Oh my gosh, my calendar's full. I'm sorry. I can't take any more clients. Okay. I got it. Ooh, now I'm going to go get that laptop. And then you might even imagine I got my laptop and someone says, nice laptop. And you go, yeah, it was a little reward I gave myself for challenging myself to fill up my appointment client, my client coaching calendar. Isn't that cool? Right? So those little vignettes, and you can do a command for each one. So I don't know how I have a new laptop because of filling up my coaching calendar. I only know my coaching calendar is full now and I am fulfilled. Isn't that cool? So play with that. Okay. Then on the sheet, we want to make sure also that, excuse me, you have a one command statement for your goal. So let's say one is to fill up your one-on-one coaching schedule, or whatever it is that you do, right? You may not, that could be your bigger goal. You could have another goal of, I don't know how I connect with 10 people this week. I only know I do now and I am fulfilled. So whatever your goal is, what you're setting your intention for, make a command for it. Okay. And then I do have a little homework for you that's going to pop up in the feed. So be sure and pay attention to that. That's actually going to be showing up probably in the next 10 minutes. Okay. So are we clear on what we're doing? Are we clear on why we're doing it? I want to make sure we have a little time for any questions. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee from my favorite rooster mug. Is that beautiful? I love, this is my favorite coffee cup. It goes with me everywhere. Okay. Scarcity or abundance. Thank you. So any questions or comments, any clarification? Emily's saying clear here. Who's ready to go for it? Who is, I am so ready. Right? And what's interesting is that my daughter said, hey, Mom, I really want your help. I want to do this project. And I'm really excited. And at first I was like, well, honey, I don't know if I'm going to have enough time because, oh, no, actually, that was my concern last week. But she said, Mom, I wanted to do this project with you, but suddenly you don't have enough time for me. And I went, wow, I got my thing cleared last week. And for the first time ever, she's approached me about doing something. And then her first belief was that I don't have enough time, right? That she was experiencing a scarcity with me. And I just said, well, honey, there's more than enough time. And I'm committed to you. And let's make it happen. And if there's anything in me, if there's anything I did to make you feel like I don't have enough time or energy for you, I'm sorry. Right, a little ho'oponopono there. But I'm committed to you and your success. I love you. And you're always so helpful to me. And I really appreciate it. And I'm going to spend an hour with her. I've committed to an hour a day to help give that support because it helps the family. And I've committed my own time and for my own work. And this is going to be a commitment, guys. It's so easy to want to listen to this stuff and you're going to get to it. But the way that this is going to work for you is if you take the action every day. It starts with taking some time to fill out the little worksheet. And then there'll be one little homework bit, and be sure and tune into that. Okay? So, guys, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate your time and your energy and your commitment, and I look forward to hearing about your successes. If you have questions or comments during the challenge, post them in the group because that way a lot of people may have that same question, and this will help other people by you asking your questions there. That is going to be the best way to do that. Okay. And be sure and check the groups because with these little exercises, I always put a little prize in for the first person who completes their homework. Okay. So you want to be sure and pay attention to that. All right, my friend, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. I'll see you tomorrow. I am going to be checking out the Facebook group. I'll be on there all throughout the day and even this evening. So post your questions there. I'll do my best to answer them as quickly as possible. If you have any trouble getting to the Google link, let me know. In fact, I'm going to go back here and get to the students link here. Oh, no, I have a bit.ly link for that. So I'll just put that in the bar. Okay, so I'll put that in the bar after the call. Okay. All right, my friends. And I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. You have a great day too. This is Catherine Perry, the Big Vision Coach at Witness Your Mastery. Bye-bye, everybody.